Am I the only person that wants to just keep talking about Lavender Town and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee? No? Alright, let's keep talking about Lavender Town because I am excited, and I've been excited for Lavender Town since we first got the announcement for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Not because of any speculation or any hope that there would be something cool, but because we actually got to see inside of Pokemon Tower when there's like a quick little catch for Haunter, and at that point, I knew the games were in good hands. I knew that these were going to turn out to be amazing Pokemon games because you just get that atmosphere. You can feel that everything is just really well thought out, and Game Freak isn't just going to drop the ball on one of the more anticipated things because now we have spooky 3D on Switch and a modernized Lavender Town. They have to do that well, right? Well, it looks like they did, and I'm super excited for that. Now, the trailer itself is also pretty crazy because it's only 38 seconds, but it's 38 seconds of pure hype because they do spooky edits and they make it all scratchy, and then you have the Lavender Town theme playing in the background. It really sets the mood, and it shows us a lot, but it still leaves a good amount of mystery for when we progress to Lavender Town ourselves. And I can't wait to see where we go at that point, but here's the thing. It's Halloween. It's October 31st. And we didn't get the trailer from the Pokemon Company, so it was just like this random tweeted from PokeTimes, not even like official. Well, it is official, but it wasn't like the Japanese Twitter handle. We got it, and then that was kind of it. But I still want to kind of break it down a bit more, because I was just excited that we saw the trailer, and as you guys have known, for months, I've been waiting for Lavender Town. I'm like, alright guys, we're going to get Saffron City trailer at some point around Pokemon Go Park or after, and then they're going to tag in just even, 20 seconds or a little bit of Lavender Town, and then we're going to be good to go. But I think it getting its own trailer is pretty cool, but not getting an official upload, not getting extended to a minute and a half, 2 minutes, it's kind of weird. But I still want to talk about it. So yeah, we get to see on the inside, and there's so many different angles. Like, I feel like it's supposed to be spooky from the time you walk in, that they're just really going to be like, hey, look at this, you're in a graveyard, it's going to get crazy. And I like that, because you really could, like, this is why I don't understand people saying that, oh, we don't need to go back to Kanto, we just had the red and yellow version remake, or red, blue, yellow virtual console. We had Fire Red, Leaf Green, Soul Silver, Heart Gold, silver version, red and blue, green, people just keep saying we've been there too many times, but you can't tell anything. Like, this is a completely new retelling, and you can't feel Kanto like this in any other Pokemon game. So they can get away with these cutscenes, they can get away with showing more that they weren't able to do in the 2D. And that's why I really like this part right here, where we get the get out. It's able to take up the entire floor, and that kind of compares to when we originally got it in red and blue version, the Begone Intruders, when we get ambushed by the Marowak Ghost. Well, that only happens at the staircase. So you have to go to the staircase, and then because of, old programming and stuff, it's just easy. Like, you couldn't have cutscenes on the Game Boy like this. So, like, yeah, you have to go to the stairs, you have to do the trigger, and then that's what ends up happening. But with this, it's an entire cutscene. You make it to that area, and then we get the same thing, but there's all kinds of camera angles, it's moving around. You really get that sense of like, oh, something's going down, and then we don't get to see the battle. So people are also saying like, oh, I don't like it when we get too many trailers or too much information, or do they have to show us everything about Let's Go before the games come out? Yes, we need Fuchsia City. We need Saffron City. We need a proper Lavender Town trailer to build that hype, to get people excited. Like, this is some of the most excited people have been in months about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I would say maybe the most excited. I was trying to think about it. Megas were kind of hype. Some of the other things were kind of neat. Master Trainers I thought would go over a lot better, but with this, people saw Lavender Town, they're like, alright, good game, 2 weeks. Can't wait now. Now I want to get to Lavender Town. I want to explore it. I want to then see what else is done throughout Let's Go. And we didn't get to see the Marowak Ghost fight. We don't know how the rest of those cutscenes go play out. So we got a lot of information. We can stack that information like Pokemon Sun and Moon, and then we still have to experience it to get the full experience by playing the game. I like that. So that's pretty cool. And then I was like thinking about the interpretation of the ghost, because it's been done in so many different ways. Fire Red, Leaf Green, Pokemon Origins, those are more tied together from the Red, Blue into Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. But the ghosts themselves, oh, it's just brilliance. It's just perfection from Game Freak at this point, because it takes the original sprite, I feel, a bit more. We just have like this ball, and without the Silph Scope, you don't really know what a Ghastly is. You can't really identify all these spooky things in the shadows and in the fog and in this graveyard. You're hallucinating, you're going insane, you're going paranoid off of all the spookiness in the air, and I love that. Even Pikachu is scared. Pikachu is so terrified because they're everywhere. You're in a haunted graveyard of dead Pokemon, and they're just swarming you. And it calls back to the original but updates it in a crazy way. I think they updated it perfectly. We have an ominous sphere, which kind of feels like a Ghastly, has the hands coming out, so it's some kind of spooky ghost, a little bit of Haunter in there, and then they just look so tormented. Is cool. I like that. So, I mean, we get to see, like, the evolution of the ghost. We get to see the evolution of the sprites. I think there's just a lot of great stuff going on. And then I want to talk about the Gengar, because the Gengar doesn't make sense on all fronts. And I really hope it leads to something amazing. Like, because it looks like we're battling the Gengar. In my video, I was like, alright, Gengar encounter. I hope we get to catch a Gengar. Because from what we've seen for the other Pokemon encounters, from all the other demos and gameplay trailers and stuff, there's new Pokemon in routes. And there's also just kind of like crazy Pokemon that you can find, evolutions that weren't there previously, stronger Pokemon that weren't there previously. So even if there's like a 1% chance for Gengar to spawn in Pokemon Tower, maybe if that's like the top floor. So you go to the top floor, and then there's just like a small chance for Gengar to spawn. That would be absolutely amazing, because then you just go straight to the Gengar. It kind of takes away from the trading evolution stuff, but I don't think that matters, because you put in the work, and then you get, you know, one of the harder, more desirable Pokemon, and that brings the experience together so much more, I feel. But then we can look at the channelers too, because I'm like, okay, so this is kind of set up like a Gengar battle. But the channelers in all the other games of Pokemon, they don't have a Gengar. They have Ghastly, they have Haunter, and then the channeler that we end up fighting also has a Haunter. And if you look at the perspective, it looks like a battle, you know? It goes more into that depth of fields where we're in an arena instead of just a static screen catching the Pokemon like we see for pretty much all of the other Pokemon catches. So it feels like we're battling the Gengar, but we don't see the trainer, and that's because Gengar is just big. It's big, it's in the way, the camera means we can't see behind it, and we don't get to see if there's a trainer behind there, and that upsets me more than it should, because if there's no trainer there, then that means there's like, is this a raid Gengar? Like, is that where we're going to get evolutions? Are there going to be like boss Pokemon of certain areas and routes? I've already been speculating that, but I think that'd be amazing. Like, if there are those super powerful Pokemon that you have to fight, and maybe that does scale later into the game, or in some very specific areas, like you have to fight Snorlax, you have to fight Gengar. There's going to be some other rare Pokemon that are like, oh yeah, this is going to be something that you have to earn. We already know that legendary Pokemon are going to be a battle, so taking that to the next level would definitely make a lot of people really happy. So it's like, yeah, is this a battle? Is it not? Because it's not just straight up catching it. It could be the start of an encounter, but the start of the encounters don't really look that way unless, again, it has something to do with Gengar being a rare Pokemon. But then, worst case scenario, we don't get to capture Gengar. It's a channeler that has a super high level Gengar and poses a challenge at the end of the route. I think that's kind of cool. I mean, and that also kind of brings us to super trainers. So super trainers were like confirmed in half a sentence of an obscure interview when all that master trainer stuff was going around before we got the official update with the trailer. Man, that was a long string of words I just threw out in that sentence, but that's how it's happening. So we're getting like these little confirms and stuff, but the super trainers, if you guys have been watching gameplay, I've been talking about how things have been amiss for a while, because there's like random trainers that are just well over leveled, and we see it with this Gambler. This Gambler has a level 26 Diglett, while everyone else, you know, they're a worker, they have like the level 22 Electrode, they're like a sailor or something, like a level 21 Drowsy or whatever. So those are the average guys. Those are the people that we can find correlation to with red, blue, yellow version as we scale into this. But then there's like people that have never existed before with powerful Pokemon. I like it. That's cool. But the thing is, that Pokemon wasn't evolved. Diglett evolves at level 26. We have a level 26 Diglett, but it isn't a Dugtrio. So would that mean that we're not going to have a Gengar? Or since we're later on in the game, it will be a Gengar. It's going to be like a level 30, just bigger challenge or something. I'm not even sure. So that's another thing. It's like, it's like a 50-50, you know? There's things that debunk it. There's also things that could confirm it. It's like, well, if these super trainers, they're still not meant to be like impossibly strong with like a fully evolved, well over level Pokemon, you know, that should be like that should be a Haunter, not a Gengar. So why does a channeler that never had a Gengar have a Gengar now when that's a little too powerful? But then if it is that way, then cool, that means there's an extra challenge that we didn't expect. I don't know. And then I just want to talk about the channelers themselves, because I've been focused on that Gengar so much with the captures and trying to break that piece down. That's haunting. That's haunted. That's disturbed. I love it. This is what I mean when Game Freak, it's like, oh yeah, get just a happy-go-lucky, fun kids game not meant for anyone. No, that calls back to the older fans. That's like, hey, you want to get spookied? You want that Ghost Girl Gen 6 reminiscence right there? You know, you want to feel some heavy stuff? Boom. That's it. Possessed. Done. I can't wait to see how that works out, because it's just like Red and Blue version. These people are freaking out of their mind because they're possessed and they're trying to channel these ghost Pokemon and they're spouting gibberish until you beat them and then they come back to lucidity. So I'd like to see that. I wonder if like after you beat them, maybe they're I don't think their eyes get better, actually, because we see at one of the, at one part in the trailer where it's all like, you know, grainy and they try and do some kind of like staticky TV effect, they look about the same. So these people are just messed up. I like it. So it gets a little hardcore right there. And then talking about Lavender Town itself. All of that was just Pokemon Tower. And it still looks great. So we get like this really ominous, good shot that really puts scale on the Pokemon Tower. Because the Pokemon Tower was kind of there, and the anime, it was a bit of a joke, just like, oh yeah, look at this little like small building right here. But this actually has some weight to it. You know, it's this looming graveyard that, and it has to belong in the Pokemon world at some point as well. Like that's the thing, like Pokemon die, that's confirmed in the lore. So you need to have a graveyard somewhere. Pretty much every region has a graveyard of some sorts as well. And then like this is the building that you have to build. And you just kind of throw it into the corner of the region like, all right, that's Curse Town. Still serves a purpose. So you really get to feel that with the Pokemon Tower instead of it just being a place where you have to fight ghosts. It has weight in the world. And then the rest of Lavender Town looks good. It's quiet. They got the perfect shade of purple on that one. And it feels like you're going through a spooky little town. They have big trees growing over it too. Like these subtle little things. You know, we have a giant tree, so it adds shade. It adds depth. It adds a little bit more like, something's up here. I wonder how, I don't know if it's been confirmed if there's any dynamic lighting yet, like if it's actually daytime and nighttime in the games. So I think that'd be pretty cool if they actually just like dimmed it a bit, you know, made it like sunset just in that area, kind of like we see in other games where it's like certain parts of the game have certain weather effects around it. I'm trying to think about like Paper Mario when you enter the Boo house area and everything just gets dark, or when you enter the forest and everything starts to get shady. So there's a lot of games that pull off that, you know, area-specific lighting or area-specific time. I think that's like the only complaint I have about Lavender Town. On that, everything else looks great. That's kind of it. There's a girl at the end that talks about the white hand on your shoulder. I was waiting for the translation because I just saw that. I was like, oh man, I can't read it because it's not translated. Lame. It's probably going to be the same, but I'm hoping that something else could be going on with it, and maybe they update it. I feel like Pokemon Origins really added to that, because they actually put in the white hand. And that was in the Pokemon Center, so that messed me up. I'm like, oh, that girl's in the Pokemon Center, not outside of the Pokemon Tower. Dang you, Origins. But everything else is great. Other than that, this is what I was talking about. I was hoping that we get that upgrade from Saffron City into Celadon City into Fuchsia into Saffron. We skipped Fuchsia. We still have Pokemon Go Park. So that doesn't make any sense. And now we're just behind on trailers. You know, we need to be caught up at this point. Game's coming out so quickly, and with this week out of the way, that means we only have next week for trailers. Unless they're going to do like a Pokemon Direct. Unless they're going to like follow up the Smash Bros. Direct of 40 minutes of shenanigans, and they're just going to give us like 30 minutes of just everything else to show. Not spoiling everything. Like I just kind of showed earlier, you know, you still have to experience all of these things. You still have to go in and do it for yourself. So SSN, we didn't get to see like that entire route, so you still have to experience that. Pokemon Tower, going to Bill's house. You know, we've seen bits and pieces, and we could just take like, I think that'd be cool. That'd be cool if we had a massive Nintendo Direct, or like a 10-minute trailer that just walks us through the entire Kanto region and then leaves all those points open to us and then sets the hype and maybe gives us some extra features. You know, raid battles, I think they need to happen, and if they do, then that's going to convert, you know, 90% of the haters right there, I feel, because then it's just going to kind of confirm everything about the games that they've been refusing to accept at this point. So, hope you guys enjoy the video. Lavender Town is just freaking cool, and I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.